15.8, and Kaori 23, 5-1, 112.8, fighting with Logic Jiu-Jitsu.
Jessica on
Vamos
the
ver,
white, Kaori
ah,
on the
eu
blue
tô
gi.
apostando a de branco, mas eu queria que
They
a
fought
de
several
azul agora
times in
ganhasse, que
purple, but I do not know, and I could not
ela
find out if
mostrou
they
muita
fought black. I didn't
insegurança
see
ali. Se
anything in
ela
our
me
archives. I
mostrasse o
looked everywhere.
contrário, ia ser melhor.
Jessica generally got the better of those
Entendeu?
exchanges
Segura
at
aí,
the
passa. Só tem
color
só
belt
mais essa
level,
aí.
but lots changed since then, Kendall.
Mais essa
Yeah,
luta.
they have had a lot
A
of
próxima é do
changes,
Kainan.
both with teams, with
É,
training
acho que é a próxima.
situations, with accolades and different competitions and
Atividade.
weight classes and things of that nature. So there has
Tem
been
uma
a
aqui que
lot
eu
of
não
history
sei
between
se
these two
já
ladies, but I like to
lutaram.
see them now again
Ah,
a
já,
little bit
já.
later down the
Essa aí é a
line with
última.
different experiences under their belt.
Double
We
pull.
have a double pull here. Obviously, time expired, so back to the feet.
É uma double
One
pull.
penalty each piece. And I will say, having watched these ladies at the colored belts, this is not surprising. We've seen this in many of their matches in their history. Here, Guy Mendez in the corner telling Jessa that when she does come up on top to be very, very aggressive. So there is not a double pull. We know that because it's past 20 seconds and we haven't seen a penalty. So this means someone's on bottom, although it's not quite obvious who. We do not know who has guard position at this point. But we do know that whoever comes up on top will either be awarded an advantage or 2 points. Now this is interesting because the athletes are going to stay in this position because it was not a double pull, but they are still both awarded a penalty due to inactivity
Ainda
or
cadeira aqui,
unwillingness
tá?
to continue pushing the match to a new direction or to improve their position.
Tá ruim dessa.
So there's another penalty, but they get to stay here. And again, we still don't know who's on bottom, Chase.
Yeah, great point. And also 2 penalties very early in this match. In this scenario, that could be very tricky because neither seems to be too excited to come up on top, right? Maybe it's the lack of certainty on who might be technically on bottom. Here you see Jessica now exploding to top.
And straight into a pass here.
Heeding the advice there, Guy Mendez wasted no time once she came up right into passing, earning her points.
And it looks like she was awarded 2 points, which means Kaori had the bottom position. We didn't know that, but just came up on top, got 2 points for the sweep. Now in near pass position with a very, very nice grip with that left hand, keeping Kaori's shoulder pinned to the ground up there, and she is awarded the pass points.
Straight into mount Jessica, looking for a head and arm choke here.
No pau, já tava querendo. Tá querendo
Once she
já.
got moving forward, Jessica has not wasted any time. 9 points on the board.
Já tá caçando lugar ali pra...
Já foi.
Ixi, vai dar um Ezequiel ali. Ah, ela vai
Big
tá
back transition
brincando.
there from Jessa, almost to the back, then back to the mount, now back to the back, almost has her hips on the back of Kaori, trying to keep her spine aligned with Kaori's as she transitions.
Yeah, look at that movement from Jessica. Incredible awareness there just to follow that transition as it went.
Here, Guy Mendez encouraging an armbar here from the corner. And another 4 points added here to Jessa.
Gente do céu. Uma água ali.
Jessica now hunting for the finish here. This looks tight. Kaori's turning a little red out there. Gimenez is calling for an Ezekiel choke here. Jessa looks to enact that, but has to make an adjustment instead.
That's fine. Keep it up. Keep fighting.
17 points now for Jessa Khan.
Keep working submission. Stay tight. Start throwing your left leg over. Locking the triangle from the back.
If the Ezekiel's there, get your hand in there instead.
You gotta move this left
Keep
arm.
the left. Yeah. Stay on top.
É hoje nós finalizou, gente.
Yeah, just what beautiful patience and control here from Jess. I like that she's continuing to look for this submission, but not in a way that loses the position. She's very aggressive here, consistently chasing the next step, paying very close attention to Gimenez in the corner, making the adjustments necessary, but not in a way that has ever she has not given any space for Kaori to start to make some improvements.
Connect your hands.
Braça por baixo.
Just such a beautiful position when you can connect the arm and the head together like this in an isolation. It gives you access to the arm triangle. It gives you access to this Ezekiel that Gimenez has been coaching her through. But it also keeps you secure in the mount and or the back.
To the other side. Cody, just giving you space. Move your left arm. You don't want to go to your right. You want to go to your left. Left, girl. There you go. Put your
And
arm.
Lucas Hosh in the corner urging Kaori to try to free her left arm. She wants to turn to her left, not her right side. But Jessa doing a great job trying to force Kaori onto the right shoulder consistently, making that very difficult to escape from.
Start moving your legs up. Your left knee will go over the arm now.
Cody, your left arm. Your left arm back. The game.
Another fast transition there from Jessa, lightning quick, and now transitioning into the guard.
Lock it. Chin lock. There you go. You're good. You're good.
Não vai pegar ali. Tá com os dois braços dentro, triângulo não pega.
Now we go. Let's go. Close it up. You're good. You got both of your arms to the side. Lock it. Let's go, Cody. Let's go, girl. Watch the arm bar. Watch the arm bar.
Now it's an interesting set of threats here because Jessa does not have the arm and the head isolated inside the legs, but she can still attack arm bars here with this high locked guard if she is able to keep the shoulders of Kaori compressed to keep the posture down. So now we see a bit of a better adjustment here from Jessa, climbing her legs up higher. She could expose a nice arm bar from here.
Let's go, Cody. There we go. I like that. Nice. Put your arm back.
But Kaori doing a good job trying to stay out of danger. She'll look to build her posture back now inside the closed guard and hopefully look to open the guard and pass. I mean, man, 17 points to make up, 2:45 or 2:30 now left on the clock. That is a big ask.
Yeah, but it's a testament to her toughness for hanging in there, right?
Yeah.
A lot of lesser athletes might have quit underneath the pressure and points deficit, but Kaori now looking to make something happen here.
Yeah, I mean, some of those choke submissions, some of those submissions earlier on looked really, really tight. Jessa definitely looking for the submission, though. I like that Jessa's continuing to hunt. She looks very, very aggressive here. She wants a submission finish with 2 minutes left to go.
Go up. Nice. Open. There we go. There we go. Hey. Go, go, go.
Kaori now looking to enact some passing here, but Jessa Khan still looking very fresh,
Let's go, girl.
very agile on bottom here.
You got time. You got time. Gotta move. Keep it up. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep moving forward.
Yeah, that right leg tied up in that lapel of Kaori's left arm is going to be very difficult to unwind in order to get some passing going. It can be very frustrating with this open guard passing, feeling like your shoulder is anchored to your opponent's leg, right? Really takes away the use of that left arm completely almost.
I like that. Pressure forward, forward, forward.
For a triangle now is Jessa Khan.
Fully locked triangle, almost has a perfect angle here.
Might be
But
switching to the
Kaori-
arm, tough to see.
And Kaori's sitting back now, maybe throwing her legs over the stomach to defend.
We can maybe switch to the other side. There it is. We can see going for the arm is Jessa Khan.
That is some definite crunch there on that elbow of Kaori Hernandez. Ooh. Looks Looks like some
Kiori
adjustments are
absorbing
going on there, yeah.
a lot of punishment, absorbing a lot of punishment here.
She is very, very tough. I mean, can you imagine the amount of athletes that would have already tapped in this match from one thing or another?
Jessica still has enough time, though, to make the adjustments, maybe get the finish. Kiori does
Ela ficou
end
presa,
up
mano.
tapping. What a match for Jessica.
Ficou
Very dominant win here for the
segurando lá.
AOJ athlete.
É resistente, a bicho.
And your winner of the Black Belt Light Featherweight Super Fight, Jessa Khan, representing Art of Jiu-Jitsu.
Huge win for Jessica here. Let's take a look at the replay. Some of the best moments from that match. Really was one-way traffic as Jessica imposed her will from the 8-minute mark forward. We saw initially this kind of double guard pull scenario that wasn't actually a double guard pull. Jessica came on top though and more or less dominated positionally, going from mount to back, racking up 17 points in the process.
As duas
So ultimately
desligadas aqui.
finding that submission after she dropped off the top, ended up in a triangle and forced the armbar. And it was really her fluid movement that was the story of this match, transitioning from position to position. Very, very strong showing here from Jessica. We're going to take it over to our winner here with Kendall Rusing and Jessica.
All right, Jessica, congratulations. What a dominant performance. Man, how do you feel coming out of that match, having such a complete, strong start from start to finish?
Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming. I had a great time fighting. I've been trying to keep myself a little bit more active and get ready for next year. My strategy was to try and attack from double pull, but it was taking longer than I expected. Then I knew once I started getting those crazy dog grips that I would eventually be able to power through and pass the guard and work my attacks.
Nice, and being the only women's match on the card tonight, we just had an amazing women's Grand Prix last month, and now we're coming into seeing you on this card. What does it mean, and what do you think, what does it mean to you to be here, and what does it mean when you look forward to the future of women's jiu-jitsu in these Grand Prix?
I got very excited when IBJJF asked me to be in the event. Yeah, I watched the Grand Prix and I thought it was amazing. You know, there was very many high-level women competing, and they put on a great show. So I'm glad I actually got the opportunity to do the same, and I'm hoping next time we start getting more super fights for women as well.
Amazing. Anything that you're looking forward to in particular as far as super fights for yourself?
No, just anyone that's down to fight. I just want to put on a good show for everyone.
Well, you definitely did that tonight, so we look forward to seeing you in the future. That was an amazing show. Thank you so much, and congratulations again.
Bora, né? Ah, não, passa, não dou conta não. Ih, Jonathan Alves, mano. A luta é boa.
And now we will have our 5th and final super fight of the IBJJF Absolute Grand Prix. This will be a 10-minute match in the adult black belt ultra heavyweight division. Introducing the athlete in the blue gi, weighing in at 175.8 pounds, fighting out of Costa Mesa, California, and representing Art of Jiu-Jitsu, Jonathan Alves.
This was one of the most discussed super fights ahead of this GP. The open weight, the absolute super fight between Jonathan Alves of Art of Jiu-Jitsu and Roosevelt Souza. There will be a significant weight difference between these two competitors.
And
Something I like to see,
now, introducing the athlete in the white gi,
something you
weighing
would
in
never
at
really find before.
261.2 pounds,
here, right?
fighting out of Miami, Florida, and representing Fight Sports, Roosevelt Souza.
There comes Roosevelt Souza to the mat, the white gi here.
All right, we are here with the tail of the tape with one of the most discussed matches of the card. We have Jonathan Alves, 23 years old, 5'8", 175.8 pounds, and Roosevelt Souza,
Mais uma?
29, 6'4", and
Roosevelt.
261.2, almost a
Vai no
100-pound
site não tá
difference here,
aparecendo. Então.
and we are going to get this rolling.
That's
Clandestino.
crazy. And Jonathan
Manda aí,
Alves is
China,
not
aí,
someone that
o
really
amarrador
competes in
aí,
the
passa.
absolute, at least not a black belt, right? Maybe earlier in his career, but
Tem
he's
jogo,
been
tem que
focused on his weight
amarrar.
class, so this is a
Natal.
departure from the norm in many ways.
Yeah.
Passa, acho que você vai.
And even with an absolute match, we don't usually get to see almost a 100-pound weight
Yeah,
difference, or what is it, 90-something, and we're seeing some of that pressure being dropped on now by
Tá down, né,
Roosevelt
parça?
Souza.
Demais, mano. Levantei hoje, era 5 horas da
We
manhã.
just recently saw both of these guys in action at our last
Gravando aqui,
Grand
qualquer
Prix.
coisa você assiste amanhã.
Saw Roosevelt Souza win the match against
Esse cara não tá gravando.
Andrew. Is that right?
Uh,
No, I'm sorry. I have to pull that up. I think I might have mistaken on the name, but
Então, tu
Felipe
vai tomar um
Andrew took the win on
smash.
that one.
no, yeah, but it was his last match on the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a match then. But anyway, we're
Oh,
into the action now here with Jonathan
Piribinha.
Alves with an interesting inversion
Porque o
underneath, but not
Roosevelt
quite enough to
manja também dos
get under the
símbolos.
hips there. Souza.
Vai ser um
Souza
leg drag,
showing
mas
a little rebowl action, looking pretty good in the inverted exchanges there for the big man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, looking very comfortable, did Roosevelt Souza there in that inverted game. I wonder if Jonathan Alves expected that.
I wouldn't if I were Jonathan Alves, right? I really wouldn't. But at the same time, really unfazed. I mean, he just went back to his open guard. He looks very, very comfortable. He deals with this all the time in the gym, right? So almost climbing the body now of Roosevelt Souza.
I wonder if we'll see another deadlift like Kynan and Elder earlier. This one's slightly less surprising, though, if that one took place.
Continua ativo, John. Continua ativo. Continua.
Lexi Souza looking for that underhook there off the knee cut pass, but Jonathan smartly moving his hips back into better control position and almost being able to score himself a sweep there with his as a reward for his perfect timing.
Yeah, nice look at kind of a long step there from Roosevelt Souza, and Jonathan Alves really flowing through the position well. So far absorbing the big man's pressure. But for how long, Kendall, is the question.
Yeah, I would say in a 10-minute match that does start to wear out on you.
Nossa,
if
mas
you're
vou
doing so
deitar.
high, right? So even though
Nossa.
there isn't a whole lot of big
vou cair com a
explosive action,
cabeça pra trás
just
aqui.
yet,
Uso os
that can be easy
verdadeiros.
to accomplish
Uso
on a smaller
verdadeiros.
opponent after you're
Bodybuild.
further than halfway into the match.
Parecendo
where some
aqueles
of that
bebinhos
weight is
de
starting to
boteco.
really melt them down. But
Já
that being
fez
said,
aquilo lá,
Jonathan
parceiro?
Alves
Lá é
is
ótimo.
not someone easy to
É
melt
muito
down. We
bom.
see him
Dá uma
consistently applying
cochilada
the
de
same
10
level of
segundos,
pressure
parece que
all
foi
10
meia
minutes
hora.
all the time. So he's
Dormi
definitely well
mesmo,
prepared for
10
this.
minutinhos lá na boteca, dessa cerveja aí. Fica lá, lá na cadeira dormindo.
Now we see Alves coming into a closed guard position, so a little bit of a different strategy. See if he opts to open right back again, or if he's going to start working from this closed guard.
Vai. Ajeita a collar and sleeve e vai. Isso aí, aberto. Aberto.
See Roosevelt straight back up, almost deadlifting Alves off the floor there and popping off that really nice collar grip. Interesting to see Souza popping off that collar grip and then trying to punch the sleeve of Alves kind of down and behind that left leg for a moment to kind of clear that pathway through maybe on the knee cut side to Alves' right shoulder.
I wonder if we'll see Alves try and break that grip of his own and come up on top in one of those scenarios there where Roosevelt goes for another long step.
Isso, 6,5. Nossa, senti que tá bom pra raspar.
Because the question is now, how does Jonathan really begin to score given Roosevelt's game that we're seeing so far?
And this is a better look at a pass here from Souza. He has that right hand underhook really nice and deep, which is going to help him keep Alves' left shoulder on the floor. But Alves still has that pan grip with his left hand, so not all hope is lost. He still has, and as I say that, just a beautiful break there from Souza, able to pin the left shoulder of Alves down to the ground. which is a big step when trying to pass such a talented guard.
I was looking to maybe, never mind. Roosevelt says, no, I'm going to pass.
That was a big bridge, though. He did look like he had hope for just a moment. It wasn't a guaranteed pass, but Souza with the persistence and the resilience to finally stick his back to the mat and score that 3 points. Now using that right hand is a very interesting grip to trap the far arm of Alves and help himself step over into the mount. Not quite a mounted position that he'll score in, but puts him back into the half guard with an advantage for his efforts.
And this can be a really demoralizing situation for the player on bottom as they get a half guard back, but really not much of a defensive position, and only to get passed again. This is where you can maybe see Roosevelt put on a lot of points in short order. Look at that crossface, really making things miserable there for Jonathan on bottom.
Yeah, has this really strong crossface, and then we notice that he either goes with his right hand for the underhook or for that deep pant grip. So if he's not able to get the underhook, he at least closes his elbow and his shoulder down so that Alves can't open up his left arm and kind of jack that shoulder up and create space to recover. He is trying, though. I mean, it's getting a little bit deeper as he's inching that left arm through and through. Big crossface pressure, really just turning the face of Alves the opposite direction that it needs to go in order to recover the guard. This is where that 90 or 100-pound weight difference is really going to start to show itself.
Yeah, Jonathan's feeling it now. A penalty awarded to Souza on top. They'd like to see a little more action. He's certainly putting on the punishment, but not necessarily advancing too quickly here.
Yeah, it can be difficult in this position, right? You rush the pass, and Alves is such a great guard, has such great guard recovery that he's going to be able to use that timing to either bring, left foot in for a half butterfly, or his knee shield fully in, or his right leg up into a nice recovery position. But it looks like Souza is okay with maybe the threat of a potential penalty coming into play, because he knows he does not want Alves to recover the guard, so he's going to keep working for his pass in this half guard. That switch over grip from Souza, he switched his left crossface hand to the other side of the body, and that really gave Alves the space he needed to get this guard recovery and now straight into action.
Yeah, great work from Jonathan Alves to make the most of that scenario and get back to a guard. But he's got a lot of work to do. The sweep will not be enough. I'm sure Jonathan's trying to figure out how to get to the back, teleport there somehow. But Souza looking phenomenal so far in this match.
And you gotta say, look how hard Alves is breathing. I mean, when you've been underneath the half guard and the side control of somebody as big and powerful as Souza, even when you're not moving much, you are using a lot of energy just to keep them at bay.
Now Souza has very, very dangerous footlock and leg lock attacks.
That's funny. It's something we talked a lot about when he fought Felipe Andrew, that we were wondering if we were going to see a footlock shootout, and we could see a similar situation here. But out of danger for the moment as far as the submission goes, and now into a kind of like a false leg drag position. But this position for Souza is nice because he can kind of switch back and forth between the knee cut and a smash pass. But Alves very smartly having his right arm wrapped around the leg. I think he has a lapel pass through, and now his right leg can assist him in the elevation if he's able to elevate those hips of Souza.
And this is looking grim for Jonathan Alves here as Souza kind of settles in on top. He's not going to rush anything, as you pointed out, Kendall. Minute and a half left.
Man, we see the continued efforts from Jonathan really trying to off-balance his opponent. And that's what you have to do when you're playing guard, when you're looking for sweeps and back takes. You have to continue to off-balance, but to do so against someone who's not in a rush, who is so dominant on top, is very difficult because you have to create all the movement. Your opponent is not creating any movement because they just don't have to, right?
Bora, tá aí. Dá o scroll aí, estoura a pegada da perna aí, bora passar, bora. Tá bem? 37 segundos.
30 seconds left here now on the clock. It would be a very, very big feat for Alves to be able to figure out how to overcome that deficit. And as I say that, in on omoplata, but almost upside down now. Hanging onto the body with omoplata, but even if he's able to score with it, he will not be able to cover the 3 points, so he would have to opt for a finish here.
Yeah, it's a tough ask for Jonathan Alves, but you got to love the effort there. But it's going to be Roosevelt Souza here that takes the win. All the credit to both these athletes out here for taking on such an interesting challenge here. Jonathan Alves going way up in weight, 90 pounds, and Roosevelt Souza taking that risk, right? No one wants to lose to the smaller guy, and he certainly looked phenomenal, did Roosevelt Souza in his victory tonight here.
And your winner of the Black Belt Ultra Heavyweight Super Fight, Roosevelt Souza, representing Fight Sports.
Let's take a look at the replay here from this matchup. You can see the extreme size difference, you might call it, between these two competitors. Jonathan Alves immediately pulled guard, and Roosevelt Souza was able to negotiate and navigate that with expertise. Remained pretty safe and then found a moment to pass. Nearly secured the mount, and then was able to ride that lead all the way until the final moments of that match. Let's take it to our winner and Kendall Rusing here.
All right, Roosevelt Souza, congratulations. Man, probably one of the most highly anticipated matches of the evening. What did you think when you were asked to do this match today?
Before anything, I just want to say that.
Hold on. You gotta let me follow you.
Thank you. I started training jiu-jitsu when I was 21. So I just want to say thank you for everybody who have been put the energy on my career, help me to be here today. If I'm here today, actually for the second time, I feel so blessed. Thank you, IBGF, for the opportunity. I'm always will commit myself to training hard, to be a submission hunter, right? Thank you so much. And about this match, man, I knew that kid don't play around. He's a back take hunter. So I cannot play around. I have to watch out him. Even with a huge difference of weight. It was tough, but last time I lost my first time here, so today I come hungry. Thank you, guys.
And now you're 1-1 here on the Grand Prix stage. What do you want to look for next? Now that you're coming off of this win.
I wish I had no game match with someone from my division. Let's do it for grappling.
Absolutely. Congratulations once again. Big win for you tonight. And we'll be right back for our finals.
And now it is time for the IBJJF Absolute Grand Prix Final. This will be a 10-minute match. Reintroducing the athlete in the blue gi, weighing in at 224.6 pounds and fighting out of San Diego, California, representing Atos Jiu-Jitsu, Kainan Duarte.
We are back here for the most anticipated match of the evening, the finals of our Absolute Grand Prix. First out here is Kainan Duarte, reigning world champion in the blue gi.
And reintroducing the athlete in the white gi, weighing in at 241 pounds, fighting out of Salvador, Brazil, and representing GF Team, Gutenberg Pereira.
And there we see Gutenberg Pereira, owner of 2 submissions tonight. Flawless run, meeting another competitor who looks absolutely incredible in Kainan Duarte. Man, I can't wait. They've had such dominant wins so far tonight. You know, who's going to come out on top in this one?
Here we have the tape of our Absolute division. We have Kainan Duarte, 24 years old, 6 foot tall, 224.6. Gutenberg, 29, 6'4", 241, about a 15-pound difference, and we are ready to rock and roll. Man, couldn't have asked for a better dream matchup, in my opinion, here on the finals of our Absolute Grand Prix. What a pleasure to be watching these guys go at it. Like we said, about a 15-pound difference separates them. So when looking at their dominant performances at the World Championships, obviously they did not meet, but now we get to see these 2 world finalists together here today. What I like about both of these guys, you can see right away, is their precision is on point. So we have some big movements, but nothing is not calculated. Looks like there's it almost looks like they're scanning each other, right? Kind of like looking at the position, scanning, seeing what the intention might be, seeing holes, seeing where they might be able to make some advantages happen.
Gutenberg with a very powerful grip on that pant there, that pant leg. What am I going to say there? On the pants of Kainan Duarte. He does not want to give that up, because you do not want to give Kainan Duarte open space, right? That's what he thrives in, is if you look to reset, that's when he moves forward and closes the space so quickly.
Yeah, and you think of like pant cuff, right? That's a thing. He like moves the pant cuff past and throws legs across, and he was almost in there on a diving pass, but now inverting. Gutenberg here has a grip on Kainan's pants.
He had a look at the back, but Kainan craftily avoids that, comes back on top, and now is in a pretty good position to start enacting some passing here.
Interesting switch to attacking that top foot there for a moment, and then now back into his knee cut.
Pode eslimar essa perna também, Pelé. Se eslimar a perna, ele não sobe. Vai querer te jogar pra cima o tempo todo.
Nice elevation there to avoid some danger. Gutenberg, and very, very agile here, rolls through to maintain good position, comes back to the feet, and resets neutrally with nothing on the board. And, you know, we're a little over 2 minutes into the match, so I think it's fair to say that these guys are into their feeling out period, maybe through their feeling out period. Calculations are still going to happen, but I think we may see a little bit more of a quick openings up now. Saw Gutenberg there with a smile on his face, a little bit of acknowledgement between these guys. Like this grip that Kainan has on his left side. He has a nice grip on the back of the armpit. A little bit of a shot there from Gutenberg, but not quite able to get in with a lot of depth. Switches to the belt, which leads Kainan to pull it right into a sweep. Kainan coming up on top. Hasn't scored yet, but now we do see the 2 points.
Look at Gutenberg fighting to get up, though. He's not accepting in on a single leg.
I mean, that was a desperate attempt to come up by Gutenberg, and he still is trying to sit through and come up, but kind of doing such a good job maintaining top position.
Beautiful sweep from Kynan.
Yeah, I think a very smart strategy for Gutenberg to come right into single leg X to keep that positioning with Kynan right in that mid-level, because again, with Kynan, you don't want him far where he's creating space, he's doing big Toyota-style passing, but you don't want him close in his smash passing positions. We know he's very dominant there, so I think Gutenberg's best bet here is to be in more of a single leg X style position where he can keep enough space while looking for his own tacks, like his own sweeps and things of that nature. See the referee watching closely here too on Gutenberg's left leg, making sure it's not passing over the center line, which would be reaping and would be obviously an illegal position here for Gutenberg. So being very careful to keep that left leg in good position. Although now with that lapel over, actually I think could make it a little more difficult to keep that leg out of danger.
Yeah, interesting use there of tying up the lapel, hoping to slow down Kynan any way he can. Of course, now the onus is on Gutenberg to make up those 2 points. Somehow, some way, he's got a nice grip at the pants that he opts to release there. And maybe go back to the well after he makes a grip adjustment with the lapel, it seems.
Yeah, kind of doing a great job here, keeping a very strong base. He notice he keeps his left knee on the ground, so he has a wide base, but at the same time, not standing up onto his feet where he would be at a little bit more of a risk to be elevated and maybe switch into a lot of sweep patterns for Gutenberg, because once that position gets going, or the toe hold like we saw look at just for a moment, once that position gets going, it is very difficult to regain your balance with someone as talented as Gutenberg. So even though there's a slow to the action, I think Kynan's patience here is really going to pay off. See Gutenberg really now using that left leg to pressure into the bicep of Kynan, hoping to further off balance him. And again, Kynan not rushing through this position at all. Kind of looking up, checking the score, checking the time, and knowing that if he does pop up to his foot too soon, that this could become a very dangerous position. And we see now that was probably the best look Gutenberg had at a sweep. Knocked Kynan down to his butt, but Kynan able to pop right back up. And both athletes awarded 1 penalty each for inactivity. I find that an interesting call to make right after the sweep attempt, right? But it kind of happened all at the same time, right? So definitely the referee was already kind of counting that time down as the sweep started to transpire. Some more interesting lapel work here from Gutenberg. He has the lapel wrapped around the ankle and the foot, but now passed through the back of Kynan's leg, locked into his left hand, which is also keeping Kynan's right foot locked in that foot lock grip under the armpit. So everything very, very secure on Gutenberg's left side, Kynan's right side, which begs the question of what's going to happen on the right side of the body, right, or the right side of Gutenberg's body, because when you're talking about off-balancing your opponent to look for a sweep, we're going to have to address that right side. And I think he was about to do that right as there was a penalty called. He was reaching through underneath to grab the pant leg with his right hand. I would say this is maybe the time where Kynan is going to have to start considering those penalties, because if it were deemed that he is being inactive and Gutenberg is not, we would see a change on the scoreboard, right? Because the next penalty would put 2 points in Gutenberg's favor, and that would definitely change the trajectory of things. So Kynan may look to be a little bit more active here in these last 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
falha no erro dele, tá, Fernando?
2 minutos. Vai se abrir, vai errar.
Gutenberg definitely staying very active here, trying to continue knocking Kynan down. He's not scoring off it, but what he is doing is ideally in his mind staying away from being called for a penalty. And almost up now there was Gutenberg for a moment. But a big transition for Kynan too, leading into a pass.
And that's what Kynan does. He's so patient. It can be very frustrating for the player on bottom. And then he finds an opening and gets exactly where he wants to be.
That was a very interesting position because he has Gutenberg kind of trapped in this twisted position. You see Gutenberg kind of nodding with frustration because Kynan has his arm behind the head, almost like similar to feeling like a half Nelson, right? And has that far arm wrapped up. If Gutenberg turns away, exposes his back, and he really can't turn towards Kynan because of the position of Kynan's right arm. Only 1 minute left on the clock here, and I think, just like you said earlier, Chase, we're going to see a lot of Kynan's patience reintroduced here once again in this position. He does not need to rush. He's definitely in the dominant position, and Gutenberg is going to be forced to move. Scores an advantage for his efforts there. 2 advantages, it seems, and back in his passing position with 40 seconds left on the clock.
That moment's pretty devastating for Gutenberg, as even a sweep will not tie things. He's going to really have to sell out for a submission here.
It looks like that's what he's looking for here, Chase, trying to extend that ankle as much as he can.
As mentioned, he's got to watch that left foot. It's being looked at very closely by a referee.
10 seconds left here. Looks like Kynan will be our first ever absolute Grand Prix champion.
There you have it. Kynan Duarte takes that match by 2 points and 3 advantages. Very strong showing there. Once the score turned in his favor, there was no going backward for Kynan.
Your winner and IBJJF Absolute Grand Prix champion is Kynan Duarte, representing Octos Jiu-Jitsu.
There you have it. Kynan Duarte takes home the prize, becomes our first absolute champion here. Some of the best moments from this match. We see Kynan Duarte on top here, looking to negotiate the crafty guard of Gutenberg. And Gutenberg made things pretty interesting. But Kynan is so precise, really makes no mistakes. Even in these crazy exchanges that are pretty unorthodox, Kynan finds a way to get to his dominant positions, score some points. And we'll hear from our winner, Kendall Rusing.
All right, Kynan Duarte, congratulations. Man, you have had an incredible year here, winning the first ever Absolute Grand Prix that in existence, right? What does it mean to you to win the very first one? Obviously, you had a world championship this year, and now adding this on top.
Wow. I just had so many feelings. Feels like it was yesterday's. I think it was 2017. I was watching my professor, André Galvão, fighting against big names like Leandro Lô. Bochecha was in Grand Prix. I was watching. I was a brown belt, and now I'm here, like winning the Grand Prix. It's amazing.
Man, so I think it's really significant to point out that you are one of only 2 athletes to win the GI Worlds and the ADCC in the same year, and now coming here and winning the Grand Prix. When you think about your future and what's next, you've won 3 of the biggest events of all time. What's next for you?
I want to keep winning. I want to keep improving my jiu-jitsu. I'm very lucky because I have my professor, André Galvão. He achieved everything in jiu-jitsu, so I think it's easier for me to come here in the big stage because he helped me a lot.
And lastly, do you want to add anything in Portuguese for all the fans watching?
Claro, eu quero agradecer a toda a minha família, meus amigos aí no Brasil. Ganhei mais um título. Also, I want to thank you, IBJJF, for having me here. I'm so lucky for being able to compete in this big stage. All my sponsor, Bruno, providing me the best gi, King's Kimonos, and Ruka for my clothes. And yeah, just happy and very grateful to be here.
Amazing. Congratulations. Thanks for putting on such an amazing show. And that is it for us tonight, guys. We will be back soon with another event, but Kynan Dwarch is our champion tonight.
Just a little thing also. Congratulations for Gutenberg. When I told him, he was feeling very strong. Usually, I always feel he's stronger than my opponents, but this time, I'm not gonna lie, he was feeling like stronger than me. That's why I have to play strategy. I think one thing that I have in my mindset, if someone is stronger than me, have more guys, I always find a way to win. So that's what makes the difference.
Amazing. Well, it definitely made the difference tonight. Congratulations again, and we'll be back with you soon.
Congratulations to our absolute champion, Kynan Dwarch. Goes home with the medal and $40,000. Richard, amazing achievement there. And strong showing from the Astos champion. Looked flawless in all of his matches. Big win in the opening round against Elder Cruz. Followed up with the win over Cyborg, and finally, of course, that final we saw with Gutenberg.